Hello everyone, this is Inayat Mir with my Active Directory Federation Services video number 2. We have just completed in part 1 what you see on the screen. We configured DNS forwarders to create a two-way transitive trust between domain A and domain B. Domain A I assume is here, but we can see adatum.com. Domain B is treyresearch.net. Then we configured a certificate trust and also requested and install a certificate for the web server. In second part is part 2, where we are going to install Active Directory Federation services. We are going to configure Active Directory Federation services. We are also verify ADFS functionalities, but we are going to start with adding a DNS a host record in our first domain, which is adatum.com. So let's go to DNS, expand your forward lookup zone, select your domain name, and you can right click. Once domain is selected, you can right click anywhere at the right side or on top of adatum.com, where you can add your a host record name, which is A as in Apple, D as in David, F as in Frank, S as in Sam, ADFS. That also stands for Active Directory Federation Services. I am going to add my own IP address here, 172.16.0.10. Once you click on OK and click on done, and you are done. This part is done. Now we can go to Windows PowerShell, use admin credentials, or as an administrator you can go into it. This time we are going to add a key, KDS root key. Currently this is a small command that creates the Microsoft Group Policy Distribution Service root key to generate group policy, group managed service account password for the account that we are going to use later in this lab. So I'm using a default option. Let's type the key first, note the key as well. Once key is completed, I'm going to bring a small notepad up, which also explains to you why we are using this key and what it does actually, because we are going to use GMSA, group managed service account, in this lab. If you see the GUID output, that is good. This is a small note here which I said that I'm going to add. Just take a look on that one, because this is a related note with your group managed service account. So this part is done. Next part is very common, very simple and very usual: installing a role or a feature. We are going to add Active Directory Federation services. You always can highlight any role or feature you want to install first and read description at the right side, and the top right will tell you that where this role or feature is going actually. So on the top right says destination server l1-dc1.adatum.com. So you are looking at installation of Active Directory Federation services. Once you're done, click on install and wait about few minutes. Here I'm going to skip or fast forward those parts so you don't have to watch when we are doing nothing. So Active Directory Federation services installation has been completed. Now you look at the notification area where you can configure Federation services form. This is, keep in mind, this is our first Federation server. So this is a first Federation server in a Federation server form. Here you have a account where you can use your current credentials, which we are using as well as logged in as an administrator. This is a part where we need to add a SSL certificate. This was actually pre-configured. If you look at my other certificate services videos, where you can find that this is a separate video where we created a certificate for ADFS, so you can search that one. Here we are going to add a group managed service account. If account exists, you are fine. If does not, it will create a service account, a $sign at the end of the account. We also can go into look at if this account exists. We're not gonna find it, but you can use a DSA, D as in David, S as in Sam, A as in Apple, .msc. MSc stands for Microsoft Console. You go and find and search the account. You're not gonna find at this time. I don't recall that I have ever added account. So but you will be able to see the account later on with a $sign, so it will be automatically created. So we are not going to find this account anyway, just to let you know that the way you go and whatever you have in your AD, you can look for it. Going back to the visit, this configuration actually a post installation configuration of ADFS is a little bit time consuming, so it will take about approximately installation and configuration type. Post configuration of installation would take approximately 3 to 5 minutes, you could say. I am not going to pause video here at this time, because I want you to take a look at all of these options, read all of the required options. And this is a prerequisite checks. You can take a look. Once you click on configure and keep looking at the progress window, which is telling you right now installing the Windows internal database. There is a concept of database which you can use. Internal database at some applications installation point, you can use internal or a SQL server. If you have a live SQL server available at some point somewhere, you have an option to point out to that server or that server's instance where you can have ADFS database. So that server itself creates a database into the SQL server. So this part was done. This was an Active Directory configuration visit. If you like to, you simply can go and scroll up, scroll down, take a look the configurations, prerequisites, and you are done. Now we are going to validate our going to the client. I think we did validate our metadata as well before we went through and we checked our metadata. It was validated, it was working, there was no issue with that one. So our SVR1 will act also as a web server where we are running an application. Application name is a test app. In case if we did validate a metadata before in video one, possibly few steps of this video are overlapping. In that case, most likely yes, I think so, because I remember that validating Active Directory metadata in my part 1 as well. So we are doing this again and validating. That's mean we have some added minutes into this recording as well. All right, so that's not a something which is bad. You got a few steps repeated. So we have installation in video 1, we have installation in video 2. That is fine, that's not a problem. So yeah, we went through these tasks. We are going to do these tasks now in this part. So that was a good small little practice where we went through few steps again. I'm going to add a side note as well. So one by one we're gonna look at what is being done at this time. So in this way we're gonna keep in track. So let's see if I have that small note here. This note will gonna tell you what we are going to do here. We are going to configure the Active Directory claim provider trust. So we're gonna go by one. So each time, so we are going to look for the claim provider trust, edit claim rules, and we're gonna look for acceptance transform rule tab and add a rule. So this is a rule visit. We are going to select the rule template here. You got to give them a rule name. So we are going to use this outbound LDAP attribute rule. We also can select attribute store, which should be Active Directory. So this is an outbound LDAP attribute rule with attribute store Active Directory. Here we are going to add name, email, UPN. So I'm going to add here on the left side small tabs. You're gonna use an email address, UPN suffix or UPN, and the display name as a rule. So instead of fast forwarding, I am going to just let you watch this part. And keep in mind we are setting up here the first one, configure the Active Directory claim provider trust. So that is what we are doing right now. So I'm switching between my tabs just to show you that. See, you can scroll down this part to get a type, which is you can say is an outgoing claim type. On the left side you see that LDAP members to outgoing claim types with the attributes. So that was just for requirement in part 1. Now you can click on OK. Okay, as you see that we are going step by step. We have to complete 5 different steps. So here we are going to move to the other server, which is a member server 11-SVR1 for doing this application to trust incoming claim. So we're going to configure this application. Okay, so this is our federation utility. Already we have available on a member server. We are going to look at where do we have our web site available, which is under a default location, but under www root we have this ADATM test app, and we browse into the web app. We are going to add this URL here, https://11svr1.adatum.com/adatum test app. And STS stands for Security Token Service. So we are not using the first option. We are using a second option, use an existing STS, where we have to add our metadata URL adfs.adatum.com. ADFS, remember we made a record. Then we have to use a federation metadata /2007-06 /federation metadata, same, but we have to add extension with XML. Once properly done with no errors in the URL, you safely can click on next screen. And we will keep this option disabled, certificate chain validation. Click on next. No encryption. Now click on next. So this is your offered claim page. You can review claims that will be offered by the federation server, and then you can click next once you take a look of at these all claims. Here you have a summary page. You can review summary page, and also you can review the changes that will be made to the sample application by the federation utility visit. You can scroll up, you can scroll down, you can look at each item, because you need to understand what each item is doing. If you have internet, you can click on the link, you can go through it and take a look more information. So you have successfully configured your application. So if you look at my screen here, we did number 2. So we are going to configure a relying party trust. So configuring a relying party trust can be done through the GUI way or through the PowerShell. So I'm going to follow whatever is required here for this test lab. So I'm going through the PowerShell. So this is a number 3 option we are going to perform using a PowerShell. So under a relying party trust, you will see a relying party trust once you go through this command through the PowerShell. As I said that this can be done through the GUI way as well. I am going to use exactly what was advised here. So I am going to use this command here. Just pause the screen and take a look on that. I will try to zoom in. And if you are doing at your own environment, you can actually make some visible, readable font on the command prompt. But I'm adding this command on the notepad as well. Just pause, take a look. It is very clear here. All you need to do is just pause and take a look on that one. At the end, you will see my federation metadata was added, which we have done in video number 1. Also, I showed you in this video at the beginning of this video. So this part is done. Now you are able to see relying party trust. You can also go into the properties and take a look on the trust. You can update metadata, you can test URL here. If there's any issue, you can validate, you can verify from here. If you're running any application such as CRM or other upfront applications, you can actually have any issue with the trust of ADFS. That is where you can go and validate that trust. So we went up to number 3. Now we are configuring a claim rule for the relying party trust. So this will be a little bit long one. Okay, so just bear with me. So you go into the ADFS management, look at the claim issuing policies. So you are going to edit this part, which is a claim issuing policy, by adding some rules here. I am going to give you the names of those rules. You are going to look for a pass-through or filter an incoming claim. Click on next. Here you need to set up a claim rule name. Each time you go through this wizard, you have to set up a claim rule name. So this is basically incoming claim type list. At the bottom, on the top is a rule name. You have to select name from this list. You can click N as in Nancy. This is actually incoming claim type. So type is a Windows account name. Yes, the name is a Windows account name. Now you're gonna go and add another rule. Pass through or a filter, and incoming claim is the option at this time. Again, you can click on next. Here you need to add a claim rule name. So this will be your claim type mail address, and name is pass through email address. We are going to add another rule. Pass through or filter and incoming claim is the option again. Click on next. Here you need to add claim rule name and incoming claim type. So this is your UPN as your claim type, and pass through UPN is your rule name. You're gonna add another rule, the fourth one, pass through or a filter an incoming claim. You're gonna check that again and click on next, where as usual we are going to add a claim rule name, pass through name, and the claim type, which is a name. Now click on finish, and we are done. So just keep an eye on these 4 options. Account name, email, UPN, and name. Now you can click on OK. Very safely we are done for step number 3. This is 3, configure claim rules for the relying party trust. We are going to do so this was a part 3, relying party trust. Part 4, configuring claim rules. Yeah, we're gonna go through the rule number 5 now. In other words, just looking at the properties of our relying party trust. So we did one by one. Up to here we went and we used 4 rules from the client. From the URL, again one more time here, we are looking for configuring Internet Explorer to pass a local credentials. First we're gonna try local credentials without adding the URL into the local trust in the policy, and that will require a username and password. So we are going to use l1svr1.adatum.com/adatum test apps. You saw the apps location were in our svr1 under inetpub www root folder, where we are going to now authenticate. Here we need a username. We can use one of the domain user Adam. adatum \adam is a domain user. We can use that user for now because we did not add URL into our trust. So we will do that later on. So domain name is there at the bottom. I can paste my stored password for this user. So now we are done with that one. You just gonna take a look on that, review these URLs, which are your basically available options under the web browser. Now we are going to avoid or bypass this prompt for a username and password. For that reason, we are going to use our local intranet sites options, where we are going to add the URLs like an https://adfs.idatum.com. So we want to avoid that prompt what we had before. We can also use https, the second option, svr1.idatum.com, l1-svr1. It is a host where we are running this application. So what is the main purpose is that when we browse to the application, we should not see the prompt again, because now we have these websites trusted. So that was the purpose of this part. So let's go and open again our IE from the client side. It is already in the queue, so we can take a look on that one right there. See that we did not see any prompt at this time, so we have successfully added those URLs into our trust using internet option. So we actually went through all of these 5 options, as you can see here, and we have completed those 5 options. Now we are going to move forward, but before we do that one, I think that we are going to take a pause for this, so you can take a look. The next topics we are going to take a part number 3, because we are going to move into our other end of the forest, where we are going to create a DNS record for ADFS at Trey Research. We will create a certificate for ADFS at Trey Research. We will install ADFS for Trey Research. We will configure ADFS for Trey Research and configure a claim provider trust for the Trey Research ADFS server. So I hope you would like this part number 2. Just wait and see. We're gonna do some more magic in part number 3. And thank you for watching this video. This is Inayat Mir. Bye.